A new day is dawning, a day of truly holistic health, vitality, and well-being. A time of energizing our very cells and maximizing the life force of our bodies. This presentation is the key to letting that light into your life. So let's peel back the blinders and look at a totally new model of human health, the new biology. Working from decades of exhaustive research, my own as well as the works of early ignored pioneers, it's all about balance and bringing your body back into balance. This discovery you are seeing is the foundation of the new biology. The cell here is actually changing from one form to another, or pleomorphism. The cell is actually changing into bacteria and then into yeast. It turns out the deciding factor on what the blood cell becomes is its environment, or the quality of the blood it's in. And what controls the environment? How we eat, think, and live. When you sit on the couch and watch a video, what snack do you prefer? Maybe you are eating it right now. Is soda pop the beverage you choose at a restaurant? Do you rely on coffee to wake you up in the morning? When watching football, is a six-pack of beer a must? Are breads and pastas your main supply of food? Do you think you ate a healthy meal because it was low fat? Is counting calories your method of weight loss? Do you consider green food for rabbits only? I think you might answer yes to more than one of those questions. You could probably also say yes to a few other things like fatigue, diabetes, obesity, cancer, heart problems, allergies, acne, yeast infections, stomach pain, and the list goes on and on. While you might enjoy your soda, you want a way out of feeling the way you do and of gaining the weight you're gaining. And you probably hear from doctors, you just need that right pill that will fix everything. You turn around and your neighbor tells you, if you want to lose weight, you need to count calories and have a chart on your wall. Like most of us, you've tried all those things and are still suffering from a number of aches and pains and weight gains. So you give up and say, this is how life must be when you get older? That, my friends, is wrong. The Surgeon General declared in 1988, for adult Americans who do not smoke and do not drink excessively, one personal choice seems to influence long-term health prospects more than any other: what we eat. In fact, we are actually what we eat. Let me show you what the choice to eat a potato chip does. After the food we eat is processed by our stomach, it goes into the small intestine, where it is absorbed and transformed into red blood cells. These blood cells then head for those torn muscles you have from the yard work you did and replace the torn tissue. So now you have potato chip muscles. See, we truly are what we choose to eat. So what are we eating? For the rest of this presentation, I want you to forget all your old training. I want you to forget calories, forget fat grams, hormone levels, blood sugar, and all the other markers of health you're used to hearing. Because it turns out that the single measurement most important to your health is the pH of your blood and tissues, or how acidic or alkaline it is. The real enemy? Over-acidity. This presentation will teach you a new way of eating, living, and thinking that will help you create an alkaline balance in your body. And all you need to do to reclaim your internal health and bring your body back into balance is eat 80% alkaline foods, which are mostly the raw greens, and focus on some fundamental nutritional supplements. But before we get into how to make this new biology work for you, let me show you why this works. The human body is in a constant state of trying to maintain balance. We are probably familiar with the basic one, our body temperature. It must be maintained at 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. If our temperature goes up just 5 degrees, we get incredibly sick. If it goes up or down 12 degrees, we would die. So our body does a great deal to preserve that 98.6 degree balance. We sweat, we turn food into heat energy, and even some detrimental things to other parts of our body to maintain it. The balance between acid and alkaline in our blood is equally as important. It is measured on a scale scientists call the pH scale. It is measured between 1 and 14, 7 being neutral, above 7 base or alkaline, and below 7 acid. To make the chemistry simple, bases or alkalinity cancel out acid. In the blood, however, it takes 20 times as much base to neutralize any given amount of acid. Our blood is ideally maintained at 7.365 pH or mildly alkaline. If it gets out of balance, our insides would look like the trees in Denali, Alaska after an acid rainstorm. The acid rain occurs from an imbalance in nature. Excessive acid in our bodies would do the same to us. It simply cannot be allowed. Fortunately, all of our regulatory systems work on trying to neutralize acid, but at a price. Stripping minerals and vitamins from other organs and tissue to help neutralize the acid and keep it in check, taking our whole body out of balance. The kicker is, overacidity is something we do to ourselves thanks to the choices we make with our lifestyle, especially our diet. Now, most of us eat simply what was taught to us, or what is convenient, or is somehow in alignment with the supposed food pyramid, which focuses on breads and pastas, both highly acidic foods. In other words, a very sad diet, or what we call the standard American diet, with its highest nutrient value being acid. Now, if the load of acid becomes too much, excess acid is dumped into the tissues and organs for storage, and the immune system and lymphatic system, or the vacuum cleaner of the human body, get overworked trying to deal with the excess acid. Now, getting acid out of the tissue and organs means dumping back into the bloodstream, which in turn sends it back into the tissue. Vicious cycle. This sets the stage for chronic sickness such as acne, boils, soreness, fatigue, headaches. One of the ways the body tries to protect itself from the damage of acid is by storing the excess in the fatty tissue like the breasts, hips, and thighs. Now you can see why that weight won't come off. Your body is actually using the fat to save your life. So being overweight is really a matter of being overacidic. But there is another horrible effect of an overacidic system. It creates an internal environment where your red blood cells are converted into bacteria, yeast, and then mold. Ironically, we drink coffee on the SAD diet to wake us up in the morning. Coffee, being an extremely acidic beverage, will actually do just the opposite. These red blood cells are converted into bacteria and then yeast, which take advantage of your body's weaker areas, poisoning and overworking them. These yeast and fungus live on your body's glucose and use your fats and proteins for growth. They are literally eating you alive. We are not only victimized by the bacteria and yeast, but by their poisonous excrement or mycotoxins and exotoxins, which pollute our bloodstream and the inside of our cells, further polluting the system. The kids get it the worst. With their high sugar diets and weaker immune systems, the damage to them is much more, and they don't even know it. Many of the common symptoms of overacidity, like allergies, are just blown off as normal. Mom, who can't seem to lose weight, even though she is counting every calorie. Or dad, who can't stay awake at work and simply chalks it up to him needing more sleep.
Hey, what's going on in here?
So ironically, he just drinks more coffee to help stay awake. What about Johnny, whose doctor says he's just an ADD kid? He'll grow out of it as they hand you a pill to calm him down. Susie has type 1 diabetes and will just have to be on insulin her whole life. Sorry is what they tell you this time. just bad genes.
All of these seemingly normal problems are really just expressions of an overacidic and bacterial yeast-filled system. Why shouldn't they be? With our organs and tissues fermenting and our bodies being robbed, while it desperately tries to stay afloat. No wonder it's having countless problems, and those common ones are just the beginning. These microorganisms and their acidic waste contribute to a huge list of symptoms, such as heart disease, diabetes, cancer, osteoporosis, lupus, fatigue, acne, mood swings, heartburn, dizziness, bladder infections, joint pain, asthma, water retention, irritability, allergies, insomnia, vaginal yeast infections, over and underweight, and the list goes on and on and on. Not to mention that overall bad feeling that makes each day feel like we never really woke up all the way. You know the feeling. In the end, there is truly only one sickness, one disease, and therefore only one cure. So what is the one cure? It's the new biology, a new way of living, thinking, and eating that will change your internal environment and bring your body back to a healthy state of balance.
Think of your body as the fish tank. Imagine your cells and organs, the fish bathed in fluids, including blood, that transport food and waste. Then start throwing in the things we eat on a regular basis. Now, would you feed the fish a few pills to fix the problem? No, though some pills may make you feel better, the problem still hasn't been taken care of. Your health has not improved. You would change the water and keep it clean.
I've been overweight as long as I can remember. I would constantly starve my body into submission, and then as soon as I ate anything normal, I would gain the weight back and then some. I had a cyst in my left breast and was so easily fatigued that if I went shopping, I would have to take the next day off just to recover. I spent thousands looking for a cure with no luck. I found the Young's program, and in 4 weeks, I lost 25 pounds. The cyst in my breast had vanished. My energy levels increased dramatically.
2 years ago, I was admitted to the hospital where the doctor told me my kidneys were failing and had kidney disease. The doctor said I'd be fine, but months went by and I get sicker and sicker, and I was in and out of the hospital several times. I felt like I was slowly dying. I got on the pH Miracle program and the concentrated green drink. I felt incredible results in a month and began to go to the hospital less and less. I finally had energy again. A year and a half later, I went to the hospital and the doctors couldn't find anything wrong with my kidneys. They didn't know how to explain it, but I do.
Even when I first started playing volleyball on my high school team, asthma was a constant annoyance. A year later, my energy began to flag, and by the following spring, I was sleeping 14 to 15 hours a day. I could only handle one class at school. I found the pH Miracle program, lost 5 pounds in the first week, and began to see increases in energy. A few months later, I was back to a full day of work, and am now the leading scorer on my volleyball team. But the best part is that my asthma is completely gone.
Doctor after doctor said I couldn't conceive without medical intervention because of my immunological disorder. After 10 years of fertility treatments, my body was wrecked with fertility drugs and needle scars, and I was still without a baby. But I learned about the pH Miracle program, and I felt like I might have a second chance. I changed my diet and began drinking the greens. In a short time, I began to feel incredible. My depressed and low-energy self was gone, and after several months on the program, I began to feel slightly ill and discovered to my complete joy and surprise that I was pregnant.
To change the water and bring your blood pH to 7.365, we need to introduce alkalizing foods into your diet that will bring your body into balance and allow you to experience the quality and quantity of life you should. To create this pH balance, your diet should consist of 80% alkalizing foods and no more than 20% acidifying foods. This is a visual diet. You don't need to count calories or fat grams, just look what is on your plate. Now I want you to think of this change in your diet as a new way of eating, not a fad diet that will change in a week.
Vegetables should be the focus of your diet. They are non-acidic and provide all the vitamins, minerals, and micronutrients you could ever need. They contain chlorophyll, which helps oxygenate the blood and reduce the binding of carcinogens to DNA, the liver, and other organs. Besides reducing cancer, fiber acts like a sponge, soaking up acid and cleaning the intestines. Vegetables also contain healthy enzymes, which aid in digestion and are needed for about every chemical activity in the body, and phytonutrients that eliminate harmful microforms and their associated toxins. Green leafy vegetables are your best source. Sprouts are about the best single vegetable you can have. They are living plant foods that are biogenetic, which means they can actually transfer life to you. Though fruits should be avoided because they are highly acidic, there are 5 that my tests show actually having an alkalizing effect: lime, lemon, grapefruit, tomato, and avocado. In fact, avocados actually have more potassium than bananas and are loaded with protein. Complex carbohydrates make a lot of acid when they break down and should not exceed 20% of your diet. Several high-carbohydrate vegetables include potatoes, squash, yams, and pumpkin. Not only is soy a great source of protein and nutrients, but countless studies have shown it is an incredible cancer preventative. One study showed a strong correlation between consumption of soy foods and reduced breast and prostate cancer. It also helps in hormone balance and protects the heart. Contrary to popular belief, 20% of your calories should come from fats. What your body needs is essential fatty acids. They strengthen cells, balance hormones, eliminate acids, and help relieve PMS, allergies, asthma, skin conditions, and some behavioral disorders. Avocados, nuts, and seeds are all good sources of healthy fats, including the omega-3 and omega-6 oils. Another great source of omega-3 and omega-6 is fresh fish. Although it is mildly an acidic source, it is an excellent food to transition into a vegetarian diet. Most of your food should be eaten raw and not cooked. Cooking your food kills its life force. You should try to eat as much as 40% of your food raw and move up to 80% as you are fully immersed in the program. Raw foods also contain more nutrients. So I want you to think salads, great big salads, in infinite variety. Juicing enhances all the other benefits of vegetables. Although you lose the benefit of fiber, your body is receiving a greater concentration of alkalizing salts, vitamins, minerals, and enzymes that you can assimilate more easily.
These foods will become delicious to you. Your taste buds have become so overstimulated with acidic foods that it will take some time, but you'll soon crave the milder taste of avocado and broccoli. If you can, you'll want to eat as much organic as possible. They can have as much as 300% more nutrients than the regular chemically treated vegetables you buy in the grocery store. Now let's do a little house cleaning and see what foods to completely avoid.
You guys take that cupboard, we'll take this one. Get going.
Sugar feeds negative microforms like gasoline feeds fire. And the faster these microforms grow, the more they ferment and damage your body. Be sure not to replace sugar with artificial sweeteners. They are just as bad, if not worse in some cases. All these foods have been refined and processed to an inch of their lives, and whatever nutrients they may have had to begin with got trashed in the processing. And on top of that, they are full of sugar, salts, preservatives, and other junk. You must avoid refined and processed food. Though fruit has many nutrients and fiber, they are packed with sugars, and whether natural or not, it still ferments into alcohol and other mycotoxins. Fruit juice is even worse because the sugar content is higher and there is no fiber. So except for lemons, limes, and non-sweet grapefruit, which turn out to be basic, stay away from fruit. Yes, there are ways to get calcium without milk. Where does the cow get hers? Greens. Vegetables are very high in calcium and magnesium, which is needed for your body to process calcium. The fact that milk products are full of bad mycotoxins and hormones and are the leader in producing sticky mucus. There is a strong correlation between animal protein and several kinds of cancer, particularly breast, prostate, pancreatic, ovarian, and several others. Studies also show those who get 70% of their protein from animal products have major health difficulties, like 17 times the death rate from heart disease, in comparison to those who get only 5% of their protein that way. Along with meat and eggs, you will want to avoid salt with all of its well-known negative effects. I don't think I need to say much about these saturated fats and how well they clog your arteries. Don't cook your food in oils. Instead, steam it. Eating yeast and anything made with yeast is just taking pure microforms into your body, increasing mycotoxins. Read labels and be careful to avoid anything with yeast in it. Same story with mushrooms and all other kinds of edible fungus. The edible ones are only slightly less poisonous than the ones that kill you immediately. Corn and peanuts contain over 25 different mycotoxic producing fungi, including recognized carcinogens. All of these are acid forming and create sticky mucus. Stay away from fermented and malted products. Caffeine is extremely acid forming, not to mention addictive. Plus, think about the foods often eaten with coffee. None you want. You already know the abuse of alcohol is the leading contributor to the top 10 causes of death in America. But on top of that, it is actually the waste product of yeast. Avoid that one. Don't worry. With how great you'll begin to feel as you eat alkalizing foods, you won't miss these other foods at all. However, at least as important as how you eat will be how you drink. Like the earth we live on, our bodies are 70% water. If we subsist on polluted water, imagine the damage. This is the most important thing you can learn from this video. Give your body plenty of pure alkalizing water. You should be drinking 4 liters or 1 gallon of alkalizing water a day. If that sounds like a lot to you now, don't worry. As you hydrate properly, you will crave water more. Getting liberal amounts of water neutralizes acid stored waste, and if consumed with a good diet, eliminates acid from your body. Regular tap water is full of chlorine and other acid-forming chemicals. Definitely avoid it. But you can get water from your own sink through distilling or reverse osmosis filtering. Or you can purchase gallons of distilled drinking water from your local grocery store. Here is a way to take what you get out of proper hydration, vegetables and vegetable juicing, and get it in one process: green powders. First off, you want to enhance the alkalizing effect of the water by putting in pH drops, which are chlorine dioxide. Next, mix in a teaspoon of greens, which consists of sprouted grains, grasses, and green vegetables that have been dried and powdered. This infuses your body with vitamins, minerals, and amino acids, the building blocks of muscles. Put this into a 1-liter bottle and drink 4 liters at room temperature a day. You want to avoid drinking right before, during, and right after meals. It neutralizes the acid in your stomach and makes digestion more difficult.
This is not coffee.
I immediately started the pH Miracle Diet, especially drinking a gallon of water with the pH drops and the green powder every day. After 7 months, I lost 75 pounds, and my high cholesterol dropped 150 points.
The first day that I ate alkaline and drank a gallon of water with pH drops and green powder, my life changed for the better.
When I cleaned up my blood through the pH Miracle Diet and green drink, everything changed. I no longer suffered from mood swings and depression. I reclaimed the passion for life I had as a young person.
The green powder drink and pH Miracle Diet cleared the brain fog I've been living with my whole life. My hair, skin, and nails are glowing healthy. I don't ever remember feeling this good.
Wow, so now we see what the pH Miracle Program is and how it can take us into a world of health and quality life. I'm sure you may feel these changes seem too difficult to make, or you don't know if you can give everything up. Remember, it's simple. Eat 80-20, drink your greens, and eat as much and as often as you like. Our goal with this transitioning process is to bring your body into balance. Over the last 15 years of helping people change their diets, we know it won't happen in one day, and it doesn't need to. It takes time to transition and retrain habits. What is important is that you move in the right direction. After 15 years of helping make the transition, I have developed some simple steps that, if followed, you'll be on the program before you know it.
So let's start the change at the beginning of the day, breakfast, and get our day started out right. If you can manage to tackle this meal, it will make the rest of the day easier. Instead of a high-starch, protein, or a caffeine-loaded breakfast, think gazpacho soup or broccoli and cucumber salad. There are many choices. These just happen to be my favorites. By changing this meal, you'll notice your energy levels stay more consistent and you won't get that afternoon drop in the blood sugar that the high-starch and protein breakfast gives you. The next step is to start visually changing the rest of your daily meals from their regular acid overload to 70% alkaline and 30% acid, and work up to 80-20. But a rule of thumb is to make your regular main dish half as big and add a couple more vegetables to it. The ideal is to eat all of your alkalizing food raw, but to start out, go for just 50%. And just because I say raw, that doesn't mean it has to be cold. I eat many warmed raw soups. However, when preparing them, you don't want the temperature to reach above 118 degrees Fahrenheit. A simple way to test this is to stick your finger in it. If you have to pull your finger out, then you're past 118 degrees and you're cooking the food. That is why I say salads in infinite variety. They are loaded with alkalizing food and are raw. And you can flavor them with good olive oil, lemon, and spices to give them great taste. Once you are fully alkalized, you will want to avoid dessert altogether. Even one sugary dessert can ruin an alkalizing meal. To get to that, what we did in our home was go from ice cream to those granola-y health food bars.
No, I don't think so.
Then we went to rice stream bars, and finally to fresh fruit, which for some works as a place to start. From there, we went to sweet vegetables like jicama, red bell peppers, sweet cherry tomatoes, and guacamole. At this point, you were probably quite addicted to sugars, and overcoming that addiction will take some time. But cheating only makes the cravings last longer. If it gets difficult, find other things to take the edge off the cravings so you won't give in early. Next, start phasing meat out of your diet altogether. This is a painless process if done gradually. Start with getting rid of all red meat first, lamb, pork, beef, and anything else you have. Let chicken go next, and then turkey. However, fish is not something you need to eliminate completely. We have fish occasionally for its protein and high omega-3 and 6 content. Start by just having one vegetarian meal a day. When that gets comfortable, go to 2, and then full-time. During this time, experiment with tofu, as well as nuts and sprouted seeds. You will want to soak nuts before you eat them to activate their enzymes and partially digest the proteins. This increases their nutritional and hydrating potential. Put nuts in a container, cover with water, and store in the fridge a couple of hours before eating, except for almonds, which need to be soaked overnight. If you keep this up, you'll always have a fresh supply to munch on. This may be the key to breakfast, eliminating dairy products completely. The first big hurdle of that group is to overcome milk. Like most of us, we just give our kids a bowl of cereal for breakfast and call it good. Start by switching to rice or soy milk. Try and find one without all the added sugar. Then move to nut and seed milks. Personally, I like almond and sesame. As for cooking, I use rice, almond, or coconut milk. Once you have conquered milk, finding substitutes for yogurt, cheese, and ice cream will be easy, with the goal of eventually weeding them out altogether. Yeast and white flour are tough ones for most families, especially if you don't know what to have for lunch if it's not a sandwich. To start off, first eliminate any donuts, desserts, white bread, or pastries. They are not only overloaded with yeast, but sugar also, and no vitamins. Then you want to start shifting your bread from the regular yeast wheat breads to yeast-free bread. And after that, go for rice crackers or rice cakes. Once you've moved that far, go for sprouted whole wheat tortillas.
Pasta is another yeast and flour product you are going to need to pull away from. There are several substitutes available. Buckwheat, millet, and vegetable-based pastas are available at your local health food store. Yes, the end of spaghetti and meatball night, but also the end of aches and pains and all that extra weight you're carrying around. Remember that cooked pasta is in the 20 to 30% of your diet that is acidic. So don't load your plate full of pasta just because it's buckwheat. Instead, think of having a side of pasta and your salad as the main dish. It will probably take more than just substitutes for this to work for you. Mostly, you will need to think outside the box of breads and pastas as your main dish. The next 3 steps are simple ones. First, all you need to do is change your white rice for brown rice. The hope here is to eliminate all refined grains. Second is getting rid of any additional sugars. Check anything you bought prepared. If you need a sweetener, try chicory root powder or stevia, which you can find at the health food store. Third, except for the low sugar fruits we have mentioned, lemon, lime, and non-sweet grapefruit, avoid high sugar fruits.
Finally, most everyday condiments like ketchup, mayonnaise, mustard, barbecue sauce should be replaced by some new friends. Your best allies in this quest are lemons, limes, garlic, onion, ginger, spices, and healthy oils such as olive oil and flaxseed oil. The steps are easy. Before you know it, your body will be in balance. And you will begin to see negative symptoms disappear and experience a higher quality of life.
Hey, big guy, you looking good.
I started replacing my meats and dairy about 3 years ago. It took me a while to make the transition, but since then I haven't had any allergies or flu, cold, sore throat, and my energy level stays on a pretty even keel all day long, so that's nice.
I used to eat bacon and eggs for breakfast. Then I started eating vegetarian burgers and switched to soy margarine. I smashed up tofu like scrambled eggs and put avocado slices in the mix. Just changing breakfast gave me much more energy and made it easy to alter my other long-standing habits.
Making the transition at first seemed a little daunting, I guess. I started by changing my low-fat milk to almond milk, and now I drink green powder and vegetable juices. My between-meal snacks changed to celery sticks, red and yellow peppers, carrots, and cucumber. I'm always full, and my sugar craving has completely left me. I lost 38 pounds, and my vision has improved dramatically.
Once your transition is complete and your body has reached an acid-alkaline balance, you will be enjoying a high degree of energy and good health. Gradually transitioning into the alkaline diet may be the best way to get started, but at some point, if you want to reap the full benefits of this program, you're going to need to clean out all the old junk that may be left over from your standard American diet. Doing so will help normalize digestion and your metabolism and bring your body into complete balance. To do so, you will need to go on what we call a cleanse. If you have a serious health problem, we suggest that you jump into the diet through this door. If you are transitioning, we recommend you go on a cleanse right near the end of your transition. The cleanse is basically a liquid fast. I actually call it a feast. You will be getting 20 times your regular amount of nutrients because you will be taking it in such concentrated amounts. In a nutshell, you will only be eating concentrated vegetable juices, soups, a few supplements, and water. As with any other fast, you should consult your physician before proceeding.
We recommend at least a 2 to 3 day cleanse, 10 days if things are serious, and 7 if you can manage. Let's take a look at what you need to make this work. While you're on the cleanse, you should try to work up to at least 4 liters of water a day. In addition to that, you may drink all the raw vegetable juice and raw soups you desire. Try juicing spinach, kale, celery, wheatgrass, barley grass, cucumbers, sprouts, and peppers, and just about any other green vegetable that appeals to you. Mix it up and see what kind of combinations you get. We'll go over one of my favorites later. Just make sure that you dilute the juice with 10 times as much distilled water. Some people find the straight vegetable juice to be too difficult in the beginning. If so, you can add a beet or a carrot to make the taste milder. Although many people have no problem with the cleanse, it can be challenging. Naturally, you may feel hungry during the cleanse, but don't worry. It's just those greedy microforms screaming to be fed. So resist any urge to break your regimen up. Hunger and fatigue may be experienced in the beginning, but usually improve after a few days. There are a few basic supplements I would like to suggest to maximize the effect of the cleanse. The most crucial of these are the pH drops and the green powder, which we discussed earlier. You should put them in all 4 liters of water you drink every day. If you do nothing else in the way of supplements, use these. A close second is a multivitamin and a multimineral with cell salt. Each capsule should contain 500 milligrams of the broad spectrum of vitamins and minerals. This will make sure you are getting all the nutrition you need and provide a nutritional environment which kills microforms. Also, colloidal silver, iridium, and rhodium with their antifungal properties. Let me take you through a day in the life on the cleanse. Start the day out with a liter of greens and pH drops. You can even put a little lemon in it. When we say cleanse, we mean cleanse. All this green juice will have a laxative effect on you. This is the way your body gets the bad stuff out of the system. So be prepared to stay close to the bathroom while cleansing. The day is almost over. Think how much cleaner you will be after several days of nothing but pure nutrients and the elimination of bad toxins.
You must admit that looks like fun. When you finish the cleanse, however, you'll want to begin adding solid foods back into your diet and to resume the 80-20 alkaline diet, but transition back gradually. After you've been through the cleanse, you will be totally immersed in the program. The only thing left will be to maintain it, though we do recommend that you have a single 24-hour fast once a month just to give your body a break from the solid foods. We have certainly given you a lot to choose since you've been watching, quite literally. And I'm sure you're sitting on your couch thinking, boy, it would be incredible to lose weight or to gain control of my health, or how nice it would be to have no more aches and pains. Well, you now have the system that works, no question at all. The hard question will be, can you stay motivated long enough to accomplish the task of changing your diet and see the benefits to keep you going? If you make a commitment to this program, you make a commitment to yourself, to your health, and to your life. I recommend a 5-step approach to making sure you honor that commitment and honor yourself. The first step will be to examine what your goal is or what change you would like to make and write it down where you won't lose it. By writing it down and reflecting on it, the goal becomes more real, a part of you. The second step will require us to be honest with ourselves. We need to decide exactly what we must do to accomplish our goal. Include a time frame for your plan and keep it simple. If you plan too much too soon, you will kill yourself before you get out of the gate. Another vital element with step 2 will be to set a goal that is realistic and achievable for you. If that is 1 month to fully transition or 12 months, it doesn't matter. You aren't competing with anyone but yourself. Once you have the goal and course of action, make sure you define the steps in detail. The more specific the plan, the more likely you will be to accomplish it. You will then need to do it. Whatever your plan is, practice having a totally alkaline breakfast 3 times a week, then 4, 5, 6, and 7. Practice is repetition, and repetition of any skill increases your ability to do it. And when you are in the clinch and there is no one around, remember your goal and stay focused on it. Set a time to regularly evaluate how far you have come, how much your symptoms have diminished, how much weight have you lost, and how much better do you feel. Ask yourself if you stayed with your plan and what you need to do better next time. If you are having trouble, reevaluate your goal and make sure you are on the right path. You are the master of this journey you are on. See what you need and make adjustments. Then, reward yourself for your accomplishments. Buy art for your home, take a class that intrigued you, or shop for some new clothes. And if you fall, simply get back on the cliff and start climbing where you left off. Feeling guilty or down about a slip won't help you accomplish anything. If you tumble, reset your goal and recommit yourself to it. If you find yourself falling off again and again, realize the fact that food is not just a physical thing for us, but is often an emotional thing for us. For this program to work, there must be a change in the way you operate on a daily basis. And most important, you may need to change the way you think. Get rid of your excuses, no matter how legitimate you think they are. Think of how good it will feel to be at the top, better than you can imagine. Hang on. You're probably looking at some big changes in the way you live your life. Experience will be your best teacher, but while getting that experience, we would like to give you some practical strategies to help you implement this program. I'm going to take you through several recipes, and I want you to make one of them today for yourself to see how easy and filling they are. Hi there. Welcome to my laboratory. Now that you've heard the new biology from Dr. Young and this contextual approach to health, I'm sure some questions are coming at you like, what can I eat? But I think once you try these alkalizing recipes and you see and feel the difference, that you'll really prefer this way to start your day. My recipe is called Sean's Super Shake. So we have cucumbers, which are the most alkalizing vegetable on the face of the planet. For our creaming agent, we're going to use avocado, higher in potassium than bananas actually. We have a whole lime peeled and some fresh spinach. Today also I'm going to be adding soy sprouts. And for our sweetener, you don't have to use this, but I'm going to be using stevia extract. And we've got a little ice and a little rice milk. You could also use tofu or almond milk or soy milk. It could be your choice. So actually I'm just going to put all of these things in the blender, flip the switch, and be done. Okay, so it's very simple. I'm going to put my avocados and my liquids in. So I've got those down at the bottom of the blender. And remember, this lime is whole. It's just peeled. Okay, then our cucumbers next. Soy sprouts. Remember, that's the sprouted soybean. extra protein, and they actually are sweet, and some ice. Today for my sweetener, I'm going to add stevia, and we're ready to blend. Okay, all done. Let's see how it tastes. Got greens? Okay, I've given you one idea for breakfast, a shake, but now I want you to think soup for breakfast. On a cold, wintry morning, we'll oftentimes have a warm bowl of soup, cooked, but sometimes in the summer you want to have something cool. So I'm going to teach you the Madrid gazpacho today. Okay, so I'm going to take these beautiful tomatoes and just place them in the blender here because you want your wettest ingredients in the blender first. And then I'm going to take my cucumbers, very hydrating, a cooling effect to the blood with cucumbers, and we're going to put a red bell pepper in here. Okay, and then for our seasonings we're going to use real salt, which is a salt that tests out very alkaline. We've got some raw garlic, my favorite. I've got some basil and cumin. Now at this point you could add a jalapeno pepper if you want to give the gazpacho a little kick, and also some nice olive oil. Okay, and also a couple of juice from a couple of fresh lemons. Okay, and we've got a nice, smooth, easy gazpacho. Now, for a little snap, crackle, and pop on the top, I've got some diced onions, celery, avocado, and some dehydrated vegetables that I make instead of croutons. So I'm going to place that over the top. Then you're just going to put that on the top here. And you're done. One of the things that I do every week is build a big rainbow salad. The neat thing about this is you can build your other meals through the week from your rainbow salad. I'm using a Cuisinart food processor today, and this is going to be a tool that will help me do the job quicker, faster, and easier. So I've got my beautiful greens and all of these beautiful colored vegetables, and we're going to build a rainbow. Now we use the shredding blade so that we can expose the outside, the surface area of the vegetables more, and this causes them to be sweeter, especially for children. Okay, so I'm going to be using the shredding blade in the Cuisinart today. And we're going to start with our deepest color, this beautiful purple cabbage. Wow, see how quick that is? Real easy, real fast. So now I have my purple cabbage shredded, and I'm going to go ahead and shred up all of these vegetables for the rainbow salad. Next I'll go to the beets, and then the carrots that are orange, the yellow squash, the yellow white cabbage, and finally the white jicama. So let's go ahead and shred all these vegetables up, and then I'll show you how to dress the salad. Okay, so I've got my beautiful shredded vegetables here, all in the right colors, and I'm going to start laying them on the salad to create a rainbow. And we'll start with the purple cabbage on the outside here. Next I'm going to be putting on red beets, high in iron. Then we're going to go to the sweetest of our vegetables, carrots. Then our next color would be lighter, and we're going to go with a yellow squash today. For the center of the salad, I want something really nice and white. And I'm going to use jicama. It's a root vegetable, which we've shredded up today. It's very sweet. It's sort of a cross between a potato and an apple. It's high in potassium. It's a high water content vegetable. And children, when you're trying to transition them from sugars to vegetables, this is one of the sweetest vegetables that you can offer them as a snack. Okay, so I'm just going to add as a final touch these beautiful dried vegetable croutons. And there you have it, the rainbow salad. It tastes great. You can live out of it all week. You can put it in your wraps. It's beautiful, the rainbow salad. Now that you have your rainbow salad made, you can actually use it to build other alkaline meals during the week. I'm going to use it for the super wrap. Before we make the wrap, let's talk about the tortilla we're going to use. You can actually find these ready-made tortillas from your grocery store or from the health food store and use those, or you can follow the recipe in the pH Miracle called Shelly's Super Tortillas and make your own tortilla dough. Now you can roll that out with a rolling pin and fry it on your fry pan on your stove, or you may use a tortilla press like this one. You simply open it up, heat it up, place your dough in the tortilla press and press. Hold it down for a few seconds and voila, a perfect tortilla. Now let's build this wrap. I'm going to actually start with this tortilla, and the flavors that I like to use are hummus and pesto together. Hummus is actually a staple in the Mideast, and it's made from chickpeas, sometimes called garbanzo beans, and it's high in calcium and magnesium, and it's very high in protein, so that's why we use it, and it's very flavorful. It's a good transitional food to get kids off of peanut butter. And then on top of that, I'm going to do my favorite, a pesto, a fresh pesto made of basil, sun-dried tomatoes, pine nuts. It's actually in the pH Miracle book. It's called Spring's Pesto, and it's a beautiful fresh tasting recipe with garlic. Now garlic is an antifungal and a natural antibacterial food, and so we've got our two spreads on the wrap, and then we're going to pull in our rainbow salad. And this is how you use the salad to fill your wrap. You just dive in. Remember, we're eating 80-20, so we want to get our 80% high water content alkalizing food in the wrap. And I'm going to grab some of these toppings here and some of the jicama for sweetness. And then I'm going to just really add some nice goodies here. I've got marinated tofu that I'm adding this morning. Again, this would boost the protein content of our wrap. I've got soaked raw almonds, probably the most alkalizing nut that you can use, soaked overnight in a bowl of water to plump them and to oxygenate the almonds. We'll put a little red onion here on the top of our wrap. We've got some pine nuts. We already have pine nuts in the pesto, but we can add a few more. There's sunflower seeds, and you can see how this wrap actually becomes a manwich, if you want to call it that. I know some pretty healthy, hefty men who love this wrap. And again, you could use this wrap for breakfast, lunch, or dinner anytime you're hungry. And I'm going to add a little bit of God's butter, avocado. Okay, wrap it up like this. And wow, that's pretty packed. And then I want to show you how I wrap the wrap. Okay, you just shake it a little bit so things will settle, and then you bring one end up over the other. Put a toothpick in. You want to use a toothpick there to secure your wrap. And you're going to fold in both ends. Like this. Fold in the sides. So you've got your wrap wrapped, and you want to take this toothpick out because, of course, you don't want anybody to run into that. So you're going to take your wrap and cut this on a sharp diagonal. You need to use a real sharp knife. Go all the way through the wrap. And then what you come up with is two great halves of your wrap. You can just pull down one side and it's ready to eat. Every once in a while you want something to crunch on like a cracker, and yet as alkalinarians we don't want to eat a lot of carbohydrates. Today I'm going to be using my dehydrator and sprouted buckwheat to show you how you can get a high protein raw vegetable food made into a cracker. I'm actually using raw buckwheat, which is a seed instead of a grain, therefore it's not full of carbohydrates. And we're going to sprout it and use it in its raw form like this. This is a 2-day sprout on the buckwheat for our crackers today. So I'm simply going to take my Cuisinart, and I'm going to be using the S blade this time in the Cuisinart. And I'm going to go ahead and put all the sprouted buckwheats inside there. Like the other recipes, just start adding my other ingredients. I have garlic, herb bread seasoning. I have some olive oil. Just mix that around. Got some sun-dried tomato for flavor, and that's all you have to do. Just put on your lid. Pretty easy, huh? That's all there is to it. So you take off the top here, and what you've got is a real nice sprouted buckwheat dough ready to put on your dehydrator sheet. This is a vinyl sheet that you want to put your dough on so it doesn't leak through your sheet. And you just simply want to take the buckwheat dough and spread it out into a nice square, about a 1/4 inch thick. Okay, so then you're all ready to put this into your dehydrator to dry it. So now, after about 18 hours of drying, you're going to take it out. And you've got this dried buckwheat flatty that you can break into crackers like this, or you can use it for a pizza crust, whatever you want. Let's try it. Mmm, yummy. Okay, now I know what you're thinking. How am I going to get my kids to eat the good stuff and get off the bad stuff, like hamburgers, ice cream, candy, that sort of thing? The next recipe is called Doc Brock Casserole, and it's my way of transitioning my family off of hamburger and getting them to eat more broccoli. So this recipe is really fun, it's really easy, and I'm going to start with a soy substitute here that resembles hamburger but is spiced and seasoned and is very tasty like hamburger. And I'm just going to put it into my warm electric fry pan here, let it warm up a little bit. And then I'm going to take my steamed broccoli tops. These are pre-steamed, and you can just pour them in right on top with the soy substitute. And then you want to leave that for just a minute. Put the lid on and let it steam a little bit. And then we're going to go towards the Cuisinart and take our broccoli stalks and leaves to make the sauce for the Doc Brock casserole. So I'm going to simply put the broccoli stalks and leaves in with my S blade, and we're going to add some soft tofu for our creaming agent, some dried mustard, again some real salt, tests out alkaline, some tarragon and basil for seasonings, and last some good oil. You could use olive oil, you could use flaxseed oil. My favorite is essential balance oil. And you're going to put your oil in, and that's it. From there, it's just a flip of the switch. Okay, we've got our sauce. And this is what we're going to fold into our soy and broccoli mixture. This is what gives the casserole a nice creamy texture that kids are used to in casseroles, and yet it has no dairy products. So you get that all spread out nice and mixed up. And last but not least, kids love potato chips. So how can we transition them? By baby steps. We're going to take some herbed potato chips that have been cooked in olive oil. Okay. Take the bag. Okay, and sprinkle these on the top. These are going to add some crunch the kids like. You don't want to sacrifice crunch. You want to keep crunch in their diet, and yet still be a transition step into getting off a lot of the bad foods. So just spread those around. After it's steamed, you're going to take the lid off, and you've got it. Let's see how this tastes. For this part of the presentation, I'd like to show you my shortcuts that I use every week to make alkaline meal planning easy and quick. On page 197 in the pH Miracle, I'll show you all these ideas. The first one would be, make a huge rainbow salad that will last about 3 days and keep it in the fridge. This will serve as your mainstay for your new mostly raw diet. You can build a quick meal around this beautiful salad, or you may want to use it to fill a wrap. And it's just something that you can feed your family out of all week long. Now, along with that, you want to make enough salad dressing to last the week using your good oils, your good seasonings, and lemon and lime in place of vinegar. From there, you want to make sure that you have plenty of spice combinations on hand. Keep a bowl of soaked almonds in the fridge for a crunchy snack during the times when you're having cravings for sweets or snacks. Mix up batches of your favorite spreads, such as hummus or pesto, to use for dips, a topping for steamed veggies, a spread for crackers and wraps, or thin them and use them as dressings for your salad. Take some sprouted wheat tortillas and let them sit out on the counter to dry, and then grind them up in your blender and use this for flour, a thickener, or breadcrumbs when a recipe calls for something like that. Also use your dehydrator to dry extra veggies to store for croutons and other crunchy snacks. Use your freezer to your advantage and store serving-sized packages of nuts, herbs, fresh ginger, and good oils such as flaxseed oil. Always keep good healthy snacks on hand like marinated tofu and fresh sunflower seed sprouts for crunch and munch. Keep a rice cooker on the counter with a fresh batch of steamed grains like brown rice, buckwheat, or legumes for that 20 to 30% of your diet that can be cooked. And also remember to keep a lot of pure water on hand. Remember that by using these shortcuts, by having the proper tools, and by eating 80-20, you can make this alkaline lifestyle one that will benefit you and your family for many years to come. Remember what Hippocrates said, let your food be your medicine and your medicine be your food.
We've shown you the fundamentals of the new biology
and given you some steps to transition into this pH Miracle program
and the basics of this new way of living, eating, and thinking. For more details
and for more recipes,
check out our latest book release, The pH Miracle.
Thank you for being with us for this presentation.
And may your journey back to the House of Health be your pH Miracle.